I ended up going to law school because I had problems with depression and anxiety. I was a senior at Wellesley College. I was a major in biochemistry, and I got to the point where I physically could not bring myself to walk into the science center. Now, when you're a biochemistry major doing a research project for your thesis, that kind of makes it impossible to do the work. And I first started seeing a counselor who suggested dropping the thesis, which for somebody like me who's always done well in school was kind of beyond the realm of my imagination. But I did that, and for my mental health, it was the best thing I could have done. And I took a couple classes that were law-related. One was on criminal justice, and one was on the anthropology of law and justice. And they were the most interesting things I had taken in school for a while. So I thought law school would be a great place to go. I applied to law school. Well, I took the LSAT, did well, applied to law school. Of course, leaving out the year, I was depressed and didn't do anything. But then went to law school, and not realizing it, this is where my diagnosis comes into effect again, because it turns out that I was actually starting to suffer the first manic attack that I ever had. And so my first year at Harvard Law School, I wasn't going to classes. I joined every student organization on campus. I formed a new student organization. And on the same day that my new student organization got official approval from the school, I also went to an appointment with my psychiatrist, who told me she was putting me into McLean Hospital. And that is the civil commitment that ended up severely delaying my admission to the Connecticut bar. I got back to law school after that first hospitalization. I had to take the rest of my first year off and repeat first year in the fall. But I graduated on time, despite the fact that I had 2 other hospitalizations during law school. And I got a Harvard Law School degree. I took the bar in Massachusetts and New York. I passed New York. I flunked Massachusetts. I retook Massachusetts, which fortunately when I did, it was the last multi-state score that could be used for when I finally took the Connecticut bar, which meant I only had to take 1 day of the Connecticut bar. When I first saw the application for the bar, and people have to remember that this was 20 years ago, I saw the questions on the application and I literally threw the application across the room. I could not believe that the bar could legitimately ask the questions they were asking. I thought the questions were a word I probably can't say on this video, but I consulted with colleagues at the Connecticut Legal Rights Project who told me those questions were the result of a lawsuit because the questions used to be even more intrusive than they were. So they recommended I answered them, and I did, and I took the exam, and I got a letter that I passed but wasn't being recommended for admission to the bar. I asked why, and they said they needed additional information from me because of my answers to those questions. It took 2 meetings with the local committee, 1 meeting with the statewide committee, and then I found out I was being recommended for conditional admission. I asked for a time limit to be put on those conditions. They said no. They said there's a procedure to get the conditions removed, and that's the only way we'll do it. And at that point, I accepted those conditions because I wanted to be in the bar and practicing more than I wanted to keep fighting them. In retrospect, maybe I should have put up more of a fight, but then I wouldn't be here today having practiced in law in Connecticut for 20 years with legal services.